All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the men who taught me his truth. I would like to say shalom to Yakiam and Yufiwakwath, you men, women, and little ones that believe on the words of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. It's your brother Micah Allah, coming at you with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemar Shah, Lord willing to edify. And the title of this lesson is Famine is Growing. Famine is growing. And as we measure the times in these last days, and as we measure these prophecies, we see it's a lot taking place. We see Esau's doing a lot. He's showing a lot in the form of these different viruses and, all types of events that's taking place, such as, certain, acres of land is being, mysteriously burnt up. Got these wildfires, all types of calamities, and mainly things that would affect you Americans, you see. And as you just had on May 14th, you had water source targeted, over here at the Alabama Dam, over there in Mobile, Alabama, where an explosive device was found underwater, and detonated by bomb squad. And of course, the enemy, which is Esau, comes to what? Kill, steal, and destroy. And one of the main things that he's trying to destroy is you people's resources, That's what he's doing. That's what he's targeting. This is a old-fashioned blockade and siege war tactic that this man is doing right before your very eyes, because these things are not by coincidence. These things don't no bomb just appear out of nowhere, and this dude didn't know about it beforehand, you see, proving that this is a strategic plan to cut off you people's water sources, you people's livelihood, But it all goes back to the will of Yahweh Shemar Shah. That's why we are in evil times. We're in perilous times. And things are about to intensify. Because when the food dries up completely, when the water dries up completely, you're going to need, talking to you so-called Negro Latinos and Native Americans, as well as you Israelite foreigners out there, you're going to need a divine intervention. You're going to need a higher power. We're all going to need a higher power to step in on our behalf, because that's going to be your only way of surviving, literally. But as it is written, for the elect is going to walk by faith and not by sight, you see? So that's why it's important to be spiritual minded in these times and not carnally minded, because looking at these different events that's taking place from a carnal perspective, you people don't have a way out of this. You people don't have another way. Even if you stored up food, canned goods, and you plant your own gardens and stuff like that, you got your own wells, water supplies. Eventually, Esau's gonna, he's gonna try to get to all the people that got those things. You see? And he's gonna use his sword to do so by the way of these different, Gurga troops, or he may just bomb your stuff, literally just send a drone and you in your bunker or whatever, and he may just, he could literally send a tiny explosive robot bug that could crawl in the cracks of your bunker, and it's a whole bomb, and that could blow you up. You know what I'm saying? Because this man's sword has intensified, you see, on the left-hand side. But let's get straight into it. This from Dabu 7.
Yeah, that explosion was controlled and intentional. A grenade-type explosive device was found underwater at Big Creek Lake, the primary drinking water supply for the Mobile area. The Mobile area water and sewer system, MAW, is saying divers found this improvised explosive device while surveying the lake's dam for routine repairs. A multi-agency bomb squad team, including the FBI, Mobile County Sheriff's Office, and state law enforcement, retrieved and safely destroyed it, as you just saw. MAW says the drinking water supply was not affected. Big Creek Lake is federally designated critical infrastructure, and Homeland Security has been notified. We're trying to find out where the IED came from, if it's been there for some time, or if investigators think it was placed there.
And again, this was at a Mobile, Alabama water reservoir here.
Now keep in mind, all of this is the trickery is with Satan. Because how are you doing daily, checks? And these previous times you've just somehow missed a whole bomb, in the dam. When you're doing daily checks, you see what I'm saying? Proving that. And then these places like this are obviously, full of security, such as cameras. You may have security guards, somebody patrolling, but somehow you miss a whole bomb, proving that it was strategically done. It was done on purpose.
This grenade-type IED discovered by divers, and I would say it was strategically placed there. IEDs don't accidentally show up in places, especially on critical infrastructure. So we now have a situation where a bomb has been put on a water reservoir. They're lucky it didn't get detonated and cause a disaster. There's people that live underneath some of these dams and downstream. So things to think about, because if this happens in certain areas, it can cause devastation. I mean, any dam that gets blown out is going to cause devastation. It's just the level of it, something we don't want to see. So I'm going to leave links. Join me for the live show. Going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Let me know in the comments section if you know of any stories related to this or anything like it. Much love.
You see? And eventually, it may come a day where, these certain dams that's been built, it may come a day where these things do get mysteriously, mushroom cloud, you know what I'm saying? And a whole disaster breaks out. And boom, your water supply is completely shut, and your local lakes, local rivers, Esau could do certain things to contaminate the water in these last days to guarantee you people aren't going to be able to survive unless you go to him, And that's where rationalization is going to come, where this man's going to ration water to you. He's going to ration out food to you, you see, to where you got to come to him But this from time.com. It says Trump's reversal on China buying U.S. farmland angers MAGA supporters. You see? It says during his 2024 campaign for the White House, then candidate Donald Trump repeatedly pledged to block Chinese nationals and companies from purchasing U.S. farmland as part of his quote-unquote America First agenda. And shortly after winning a second term, so this was the promise that Trump made to all you maggers, Trump made to all you jakes that trusted in him, you know. This was basically an agreement that he made with you people. And he said America first, you know, speaking smoothly to you people, telling you what you want to hear. Then when he gets in the office, all of those promises that he made, telling you that he's going to open up more job opportunities. But in this second term, you see nothing but AI taking over majority of people's jobs now. You see more job losses. You see more people on unemployment. You see? So he's literally doing the opposite of what he campaigned about. And that's why you Israelites out there, you Negro, Latinos, and Native Americans, that's why the Lord really comprehended much in few words, just telling us, hey, never trust thine enemy. Point blank, period. Just never trust thine enemy, and that's the end of the discussion, man. It doesn't matter what he say. It doesn't matter what he do. You don't trust nothing that this man has to offer you. You know, and that's why it was very, very foolish for some of you jakes to go down during the C-19 to some of these local Walmarts, CVS's, Walgreens, your local doctor's office, you know what I'm saying, and go take that juice, that C-19 poison, man. You see, and now we're in a time where all these different nanoparticles is in you. You don't even know what type of things that's in you, man. And as these 6G towers begin to roll out and these frequencies get turned up, you're going to get turned into some shit. Unless the Lord have mercy on you, you're going to get turned into some shit like on Zombie Land, man. You see? Well, you got a desire for flesh, because the scriptures does speak about cannibalism, you know, and the way that cannibalism could come, not just by, you know, which of course, you know, starving a person to death, but a person could have a demon on them to desire human, you know, flesh. You see? That's why you people are so addicted to McDonald's, you know, which is clearly being talked about, and the information is out there that you're eating, you know, human flesh. But even with the information being out there, even with your average American coming across that information, guess what? They still getting that $5, you know what I mean, McRib, or they still getting a what's the name of that new burger that came out? Whatever that burger was with the CEO was faking like he was eating. You know, I forget the name of it, but, you know, nigga still getting a Big Mac, you know, showing that he's addicted to it. He don't care. Even though you can show him the information, you know, and a person's response would just be, hey, man, it is what it is, you know. But it says, and shortly after winning the second term, his administration moved aggressively to curtail Chinese student visas. It says today, however, President Trump has reversed course on both issues, a development that threatens to isolate many in his base who view China as an e- existential threat to U.S. sovereignty. Trump's pivot on the issues was drawn into focus following his visit to Beijing this week for a high-stakes summit with Chinese President Xi, however you pronounce that. You see? So it says in an interview on Friday following the diplomatic visit, Trump defended his turnaround while offering little explanation for his change of heart. Yeah. And obviously Esau is what? Double-minded, man. That's why you should never trust this dude, man. Especially you Israelites, because you Israelites have no reason to be trusting the so-called white man in 2026 with as much things as he's done to you, not just going back to the 1950s, you know what I'm saying, but just starting with what the early 2000s all the way up to 2026, just going back 26 years ago. You could look at this man and tell he still doesn't give a damn about you. And he still wants to destroy you. He's just doing it in a modern sense. You see? And this is what Trump said. It says, frankly, I think that it's good that people come from other countries and they learn our culture. See, now it's good for them to come over and learn the culture of America. And many of them want to stay here. I think it's a good thing, Trump said in an interview with Fox News, defending his plan to approve some 500,000 visas for Chinese students. It says in the same interview, Trump defended the Chinese ownership of U.S. farmland, directly contradicting his own campaign speeches in which he vowed to stop Beijing from buying up our farmland and warned that foreign ownership threatened American independence. Exactly. You see? And guess what? Proving to you that everybody's on the same page, you know? Trump's on the same page with this NWO agenda, you know. The president of China is on the same page with the NWO agenda. All of these top world leaders are on the same damn page, man. You see? So guess what? China's going to make sure that you people get starved out over here in America because, you know, these higher up niggas in China don't give a damn about you Americans, man. You see? So here it is. They got control of your farmland. You see? And that's nothing but a war tactic brewing. So the famine is growing, man. And that's all through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. It says, look, it's not that I love it. You want to see farm prices drop? You want to see farmers lose a lot of money? Just take that out of the market. But they've had a lot of land for a long time. Obama did nothing about it. They bought a lot during the Obama administration, and he did nothing about it, Trump said. And he always got to throw Obama ass in there, which we all know Obama wasn't shit. But this is the point. It says some prominent Trump supporters have spoken out against the shift. MAGA influencer Mike shared a clip of, and then blah, 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 has China defeated our country? It says the president remarks on social media arguing that Chinese students should be treated as potential security risk and that Chinese companies should be buried entirely from owning American farmland, you know? So you pretty much get the point, man. So you got your maggers, you know what I mean, basically in an uproar and really, seeing, that Trump was just capping the whole time, you know? So, because these different promises that Trump made during, his during his speeches, those were mainly targeted towards your average, dumbass Edomite to make them feel good, you know? And now, later on down the line, these Trump supporters, Trump 2025 shirts, a nigga had Trump, a nigga literally had Trump, I think it was Trump 2025 or Trump 2024, stickered on his damn car down here in Alabama. So you maggers, you seeing that Trump don't give a damn about you niggas, man. You see? And that's why a lot of these maggers are going to be in an uproar as these evil days continues to intensify. You see? Because now these average Edomites are beginning to figure out that Trump has done nothing but sell you a damn a dream, man. And your dumb ass cleave to it. You see? Which is good for you. Because we don't give a damn about you maggers. We don't give a damn about how America's farmland being bought up. We know that all of this is prophecy, man. Because this is going to lead to the downfall of America. To the downfall of all of you Edomites, man. So good for you. So this Psalms 55 and 20 says, he'll put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He had broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were there drawn swords. And that's the time that we in, man. You see? That is the exact time that we in, man. So this man, here it is, you maggers, you was at peace with Trump. You know what I mean? He done made all these agreements. Just like he made those certain agreements with you Israelites, mainly Gad, when they came and stole the land of America from the Gadites, tried to starve out the North American Indians by killing off millions of fucking bison. You see what I'm saying? I think it was over there in Yellowstone, Well, guess what? Those same covenants and agreements that Trump was spewing to you dumb Edomites, you seeing that he ain't holding fast to it, man. He don't give a damn about those agreements. Those agreements don't exist no more. You see? That's why I said the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. Whole time, he's still going to wage war against his own people, man. You see? As well as all of you people that cleave to America, man. You see? Scriptures tell you how he that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? This man is evil to his own damn people. And he don't give a damn. So what makes you think, you Israelites, you think that this man gonna wake up one day and he gonna be good to you or fair to you when he's evil to his own people? That's why the Lord said don't trust him. It says his words were softer than oil. Yeah, telling you what you want to hear, trying to come off as non-aggressive, It says, yet were there drawn swords. And at the end of the day, Trump has allowed all of these different other nations to come over here. You know what I mean? And that was done for a reason. Because eventually chaos is going to break out, and he's going to declare martial law, So we're in evil times. This First Thessalonians 5:1, it says, but other times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. Yeah. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. And that's those of us that are in the know. We're not ignorant of Satan's devices. We're not ignorant of the times that we're in. Because the Lord has blessed us to measure these times. You see? It says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. You see? And that's what's being said, peace and safety. That's what's been said, peace and safety. But sudden destruction is coming, man. You see? And it's mainly coming on the soils of America. Psalms 92 and verse 4 says, for thou, Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, has made me glad through thy works. I will triumph in the works of thy hands. And really this goes back to what I said earlier, that the Lord is controlling all of this. You see? It's the Lord that's controlling this. It says, oh, Yahweh Shema Shai, how great are thy works. So this is a work of the Lord. You seeing a bomb just appear, you know what I mean, in a dam, you know. This is works of the Lord. When you see large portions of American farmland being purchased, which are supposed to be enemies of America. You see? It says, how great are thy works, and thy thoughts are very deep. A brutish man knoweth not, neither doth a fool understand this. And all of you people outside this council are foolish, man. You're stupid. You see? Because you trust in this place. You think that things are going to get back better one day. These things are just happening for right now. Gas prices is just high right now. And here it is. Trump basically acknowledged the fact the other day that the gas prices is high. But this nigga's more focused on Iran having missiles. So basically, he just told you Americans he doesn't care about high gas prices. He even said it out his own mouth. He's not concerned about gas prices. You see? So that means he's aware that it's affecting you Americans. It's affecting you MAGers. And he doesn't care. You see? It says, when the wicked spring as the grass, and when all the workers of iniquity do flourish, it is that they shall be destroyed forever. And that's the end of all you Edomites. You see? You're going to be destroyed. That's your purpose, really. Your lot. You know? But before your ultimate destruction, pursuing the Obadiah 1 and 18, you got to go into slavery. But you American Edomites, all of you on the soils of America, all you Edomites over here, you're going to be destroyed, man. You see? But thou, O Yahweh Shema Shai, art most high forevermore. Psalms 2 and 4, it says, he that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision. So the Lord is laughing at you, you know? You're trying to establish your new world order. You got all these wicked plans and devices to try to get it off the ground, to try to get it established. And you think it's going to flourish. And you think you're going to have robots everywhere. You think you're going to have control of the minds of all the people, the minds of the Lord's chosen people, the Israelites. You think you just going to rule all the way to 2100. Well, the Lord is laughing at you, man. And he's making a mockery out of you. You see? Because the Lord knows when your end date is, meaning your destruction. We in the end of your kingdom, but that physical end date when those thermonuclear missiles are shot to end your reputation forever. You see? It says, Revelations 18 and 7, how much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. You see? So you people honestly believe that you're not going to see no evils. You know, you depend on your military. You depend on the goods to be shipped into America so that you can continue to live deliciously, so you can continue to have a carefree attitude in regard for the will of the Lord. Well, that's why so much sorrow is going to come upon this place, man. You see? That's why so much torment is going to be given to you people, man. Scriptures tell you in 2nd Ezra, the 8th chapter, many great miseries are going to be done to you people because you walked in great pride. Verse 8, it says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death, mourning, famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord Yahweh Shemah Shah power, who judgeth her. So these plagues are already sent, man. Famine is already here. Mourning is already here. And it tells you when the wicked bear of rule, the people mourn, man. You see? And it's going to be a hell of a lot mourning coming, because there's going to be a lot of people that's going to be deleted and sent back to the spirit world in these last days. You see? A lot of death is coming. And that ultimate destruction, by the way, those thermonuclear missiles are coming as well. It says, Proverbs 3:25, be not afraid of sudden fear, neither of the desolation of the wicked when it cometh. So concerning the elect, how I quoted earlier, the just shall live by faith. And the elect is going to walk by faith and not by sight. See, these things are, even though the elect is going to be in the midst of these evils, because it tells you that in Psalms 91, well, through faith, the Lord is going to protect the elect from these said perils. You see? So as these evils continue to grow, as this famine continues to grow, the Lord said, be not afraid of sudden fear. You see? So when you get that alert that is no more goods coming in, when you get that alert, when we go back on lockdown, when you get that alert, when the food is dried up, water is dried up, be not afraid. You see? Neither of the desolation of the wicked when it cometh. So when you see people starving to death, when you see a lot of people dying from different diseases, you know, you see a lot of people getting slaughtered from left and right in horrible ways, be not afraid, because the Lord already spoke of these things, which is doing nothing but proving that the words of the Lord are faithful and true. So it says, for Yahweh Shemah Shah shall be thy confidence, and shall keep thy foot from being taken. You see? So the Lord is our confidence. The Lord is our faith. That's who you Israelites, you so-called Negro Latinos and Native Americans, as well as you Israelite foreigners, this is our power, who we were made to trust in. Not sweet Jeebus, not Buddha, not Allah, not Yah, not Yahweh, none of these false gods. No, Yahweh, Yahweh Shah are the names that you should trust in and have confidence in. 2nd Ezra 2 and verse 27, be not weary, for when the day of trouble in heaven is coming, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. You see? So the Lord's going to make sure that the elect is well taken care of, because it tells you in Isaiah, I think it's 65, if I ain't mistaken, my servant shall eat, you see, and drink, you know? And we have plenty of accounts in the scriptures where the Lord showed forth his power, you know, that we are to look back on, those different examples that were written for our learning. It says, the heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, saith the Lord. So this does saith the Lord. My hand shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell. You see? So Lord willing, that was edifying. I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the men who taught me this truth. Peace and blessings be to the hopeful elect, you men, women, and little ones that believe on the words of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah. Shalom.